method of explaining things away, infrasound, which it's I mean, the whole concept of infrasound, and it can have certain effects and everything, that's fine, sure, and that can be proven and does some research. But when you watch one of these shows and they talk about infrasound, well, and they're supposedly scientists or scientific or whatever researchers, the way they apply it is completely nonsensical. Like, it doesn't matter if infrasound itself is valid. The way they talk about it, like, what I mean is, people will, see a stable apparition, a strange, weird phenomenon, and it's fairly stable, or it has a bunch of different characteristics. In one case, it was like 20 minutes, and this was from the special. This was like a train station that had certain things happen, but it was built, part of it went through an area where there'd been a terrible accident, and a guy was on, night crew or whatever, at some place in there, and for 20 minutes, he heard basically the sounds of that accident. He heard, like, a horrendous crash and screaming, and then, just this absolutely horrendous thing. And then you cut to the guy, and he's like, infrasound. Infrasound can cause, a cold feeling in the body. All this very minor physiological, and, it could make you more predisposed to feeling scared, da-da-da. What the hell does that have to do with this guy hearing a complete, audio recording of something that's happened in the past? You can hear women screaming. You can hear, it was actually, I think, mostly women and children, just because of the particular car or something. It might have been even a women's car from way back when. I can't remember exactly. But it was very distinct. And it was very specific. And it wasn't like, oh, he had a weird chilly feeling, and everything like that. It had no application. But these guys go, obviously, infrasound. It's ludicrous. Like, whenever I see one of those, my respect for, science and sciencey things in general just drops one notch. I mean, I know you can't blame everybody for it, but you know what I mean. It's like seeing a person seeing a particular charlatan about the paranormal, and their respect for paranormal things dropping. Whatever. But the whole infrasound thing is like swamp gas. It's like people have seen long-lasting, like, a U.S. military pilot gets shadowed by a gigantic UFO for, again, like an hour, stable, the thing he's seeing. It's not like a flash in the corner of his eye. And they're like, well, that was obviously a small patch of swamp gas reflecting the light off Venus. Anybody who sees that, you instantly lose respect for whoever the heck is making that explanation. Like, if it's the government, you're just like, right, so they're, your explanation makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. And that's the way I find it's like, you have these ludicrous explanations of these ludicrous, like that, again, back to that haunted special, actually. I mean, again, sort of a good kickoff point in a way, I guess. What was really funny to me about that special was at the very end of it, they'd set up recording devices all over the place, which was pretty awesome. I thought, it was a pretty neat. I'm always kind of like anticipating when they put some serious effort into the recording and instruments and stuff like that. Though, of course, there's a couple other bugaboos we could talk about, but just this end bit I thought was particularly funny, is that they got something. They got like an anomalous blue glow around a certain, like a skylight or something, right at the end of this special, and it was at the perfect time. And I'll say this is a fact. Things tend to happen. The midpoint is 3 a.m. and they happen around there, like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. But 3 a.m. being we've seen that so many times. Like, I mean, literally, like hundreds at this point, hundreds or thousands. It really is a common time. Like, even personal experience and stuff. That is the actual witching hour, as they say. It has nothing to do with midnight. I don't know why either. I have absolutely no clue at this point why. But it is 3 a.m. If something's going to happen, it's like, well, it was around 2:30, 3 o'clock maybe. or even specifically. It's like, yeah, it was 2:45. It's right around that point. I'm not sure why. Anyway, but what was funny is, to Chris and I watching this special, again, we're very good at sifting data, I guess you could say. Like, you get all this data, you sift the emotional states of the people. That's another thing, of course. With science and scientific methodology, I find the problem is they have a huge filter. Like, filtering is necessary, right? You have to determine gibberish from good data. But they go into it with preconceptions, so that cuts out a whole bunch of stuff right there. They go into it with a completely materialistic mindset, which of course cuts out so they're losing 99% of what is there. And then they're like, oh, gee, we didn't really find anything substantial. Yeah, well, amazing. Truly amazing. But what was really funny, again, going back to the end of the special, is they actually got something. They got something anomalous. They didn't notice, about the time, but when Chris and I heard that, it was like, oh, okay, we got to say, it was a bunch of little subtle things, and I was like, yeah, this is a real one. They got a real one. And their explanation for it was completely bogus. And you could even see it. You could see it. They showed them, looking at their, I think it was, real-time video of them basically after they'd gotten this result, and you see them sort of clustered. And I could sense their mindset at that moment. And it was basically, oh, crap. This is really friggin' weird. What is this? And in their minds, they're basically, I don't know, probably not consciously, but they're basically going, how do we explain this away? Damn, let's just come up with something. And they, and this also, I gotta say, this was like the last 30 seconds. Like, you would think they got something odd, and they would have really investigated it, checked it out, da-da-da-da. They explained it away. They said it was because it was raining, and the rain caused... I can't even remember their explanation. But the thing is, they didn't back anything up. Like, they didn't go, well, I don't even know if it was raining that day. They didn't give any context. It was like, yep, well, we found this, da-da-da-da-da, end of special, roll credits. And it was literally like that. It was like, oh, credits start to roll. And, Chris and I are like, what is this? And I know what it was. It was... they'd spent some time and some intent in a likely place, and they had gotten something. They'd gotten a very common event. People record anomalous, glows or EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. The paranormal is ubiquitous. It's all over the place constantly. All you have to do is attempt to pay attention to it, and you'll pretty much get something damn quick. These guys had spent a fair bit of time and energy, and they had gotten something. If they'd spent more time there, they probably would have gotten a lot more of those. And the thing is, they don't want to get those. They don't want to get anomalous events. That's another thing that people, I just find, I don't know, it's just silly. When you talk to very conventionally minded, people who are very pro-science, and I'm not anti-science. I know I'm bashing a lot of science here, but it's just, I find they're dogmatic. I find these people are dogmatic as all get out. But what I find that's very oh damn, I lost my point there. Anyway, all right. No, I completely, my brain derailed there for a second. Anyway, that was it. No, sorry, I got it back. Well, they have this attitude of, scientists want to find anomalies. They want to find something that will upset the apple cart, and overturn established theories and poke a hole in the rules and so on and so on. That's complete bunk. And I know it is true in a very narrow sense. It's true that, if scientist X is in plasma theory and he has his own particular variation on the established theories, which is, acceptable within the very limited range of dogma that they allow, he wants his particular theory to triumph. He does want to find something wrong with the other theories and so on and so on. Yes. But does he want to find out that, holy crap, our entire field is, we've basically been misinterpreting this stuff all along. We're going to overturn most of this stuff and put most of my colleagues out of work. Or that their whole field is basically screwed and they're going to have to go. No, he doesn't want to find that. I mean, come on. It's just human nature. He doesn't want to find that. and it's shown. If you look into the literature, every time anybody has attempted to find anything that causes a